Hey everyone, and welcome to Cooking Companion TV. I'm Jenna Edwards, and this is a recipe video of Venetian calf liver and onions, or fegato alla veneziana, which is an elevated form of how to cook liver. I first had this dish in Venice, Italy a few years ago. If you get to Venice, go to Osteria Enoteca San Marco. Tell them Jenna sent you. They won't know who I am, but you should have fun with that anyway. A special shout out to my subscribers, especially those of you that encourage me with your comments each week, and to the new subscribers. Welcome. I have lots of fantastic content for you, and I love having you part of this little community that we're building. So everyone, give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and let's get right to it. We first slice a large onion, or about twice the weight of the amount of liver you're using. So if you have 8 ounces of calf liver, slice 16 ounces of onions. I recommend about 1/4 of an inch thick or a tick thinner so they cook quicker. Using a mandolin ensures they're sliced evenly and will therefore cook evenly. When that's done, we'll melt 3 tablespoons of butter in a skillet over an active low heat, so maybe the low end of medium. This is a 10-inch skillet, so I can cook the onions evenly. And once it's melted, we'll add the onions and give them a good toss around the butter to get them coated. Plus, add a pinch of salt at this stage. Keep the heat low to lightly caramelize the onions here. We aren't looking to brown them or give them any color other than golden. This is after about 5 minutes when they've released some water and are softening. We'll cook them like this for 20 minutes in total and stir them after the first 10 minutes. Let's make the polenta. I'm a little loose with my technique and I go by feel. Here I've boiled 2 cups with chicken broth and a healthy pinch of salt, and I'm sprinkling in finely ground cornmeal while whisking so it doesn't clump up in the hot liquid. I like to use finely ground cornmeal rather than a coarse grind because it cooks so much quicker. This will be done in about 3 minutes. So I whisk in the cornmeal by feel, knowing it will thicken as it cools. Now I end up using about 3/4 of a cup of cornmeal for 2 cups of broth. I like to feel a little body, but I still want it soft and stewy for this dish. I also like to stir in a Parmesan rind and a tablespoon or 3 of butter for additional flavor. This is twice the amount of polenta that you need for 2 servings of liver, and that's deliberate because leftover polenta is wonderful for breakfast with an egg. Now, if you can find white polenta, use that. When I had this dish in Venice, they served it with white polenta. So it's all whisked in and I'll set it aside to firm up. Okay, 10 minutes of slowly melting down those onions has passed, and I'll stir them around to cook them down evenly. If you start to see any browning, lower the heat a touch. Now onto the liver. We're using calf liver because beef liver is too strong. Apparently pork or lamb liver will also work for this. Now my butcher pre-slices our liver to about 1/3 of an inch thick. It's also had the membrane removed, so I really don't have to prep it much at all. We do need to slice it into thin strips so it cooks evenly and quickly and it stirs well with those onion slices. We want a light touch when cooking the liver so it doesn't seize up and get tough and irony. So I'm making 1/4 inch slices. Also, this piece weighs out to 4 ounces of liver, which is a hearty single serving. If you're in New York City, this liver is from Piccinini Brothers and Hell's Kitchen. A final stir of the onions show we're starting to get a little color, but it's at the end and I'm ready to stop cooking anyway. This is enough onions for 2 servings, so I'll remove half of the onions since I'm cooking just 1 serving of the liver for now, and I'll push the onions to the side of the pan to make room for the liver. Now bump the heat up to a medium-high and throw in the chopped liver and basically stir fry it. If you want some browning, let it sit for no more than a minute, maybe 30 seconds, but then stir it up to cook it all around. After 2 minutes or 3 minutes, if you like well done liver, stir in the onions and try to evenly distribute the chopped liver and onions for no more than another minute. Literally time it so you don't go over. The key to keep this liver tender is to cook it quickly and briefly. As soon as it's done, plate it and serve immediately. Now, as a heavily recommended option, deglaze your pan with a 1/4 cup of dry white wine and scrape up those treasured brown bits over medium-high heat This is a delicious way to clean your pan too. And once the pan is sparkling clean, let the sauce thicken for just a minute. I mean, literally a minute. Here's how my liver came out. A little medium. It's pink in the middle, and there's still some pink on the outer edges, but there's also some browned edges, but it's definitely cooked. And when the sauce is concentrated, pour it over your dish and devour it. The sweet polenta and caramelized onions help to tame the liver into something truly elegant. To recap the finer points of this dish, slice your onions and liver evenly so they cook evenly. Use twice the weight of liver for your onions, so a 2-to-1 onion to liver ratio. Hopefully your butcher can slice the liver for you, so you only have to chop it into the 1/4-inch slices. But if not, do the best you can to keep it all even. You may have to remove the membrane around the liver if it isn't all prepped already. And then cook the liver like a stir fry, exposing it to heat for a strict 3 to 4 minutes total, including the time to stir it with the onions. Add 1 minute of cooking if you like well done liver, but it's likely to toughen up as it cools. And serve it immediately to avoid any toughening. I also recommend making extra polenta for leftovers. It's great with an egg for breakfast the next day. All in all, this dish can be finished in 30 minutes, literally 30 minutes, including the prep, if you can use 2 burners at the same time. So start with the onions and let them sit and cook for 20 minutes over low heat. Get the polenta going using a fine ground cornmeal to cook it quickly, so you don't have to do a lot of work on it, and let it sit off the heat once it's done. Then prep the liver and then stir fry it in the same pan as the onions. And finally, deglaze the pan with white wine. If you're avoiding wine, you can probably use a 1/4 cup of broth with the squeeze of lemon juice. And then thicken the sauce, pour it over your final dish. Are you ready to have it now? The backstory to this dish is that I discovered it in Venice a few years ago, and I've been searching the internet for the recipe and then scouring New York City for calf liver. And finally, a butcher that usually only serves directly to restaurants opened a consumer retail operation during lockdown, and the rest is history. We've been getting all of our meat from Piccinini Brothers and Hell's Kitchen. So if you are in New York City, I highly recommend them. They are so worth it. They carry specialty cuts like calf liver, and everything has been fantastic quality. Well, that is it for this recipe demo of Fegato alla Veneziana, or Venetian calf liver with onions. Get the ingredient list below or at cookingcompaniontv.com/Venetian liver. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and subscribe to this channel for more demos just like this. I'm Jenna Edwards, and thanks for watching.